Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Hope everybody's having a good day. It was sunny up until an hour ago, I guess. And now the clouds, the big dark clouds are moving in, and it looks like we might get some thunder showers here. But it was nice up until now, and that's Maine. Weather changes on a dime. And I ordered something here on Temu. I don't know how many of you people shop on Temu, but I find all kinds of interesting things on Temu, and I've been finding you know, all kinds of helpful things actually for pets. Nice toys and stuff that I got for Smokey here. There's this snake that moves on its own and everything, and I got a little toy that tweets and everything, and at good prices. I mean, so you know, I found some stuff, so I ordered something else for her, and it's something, you know, if I want to just sit down outside, I can take her with me. They have this little folding pen that you can put her in, and she won't, you know, she won't run away or anything. If I take her out, they'll just put her in that, and that way she can enjoy being outside with me, because you know, I don't know, she sits in the window all day, and you know, and I have the window open so she can get the air from outside in, and she can hear what's going on, but it's still inside. And you know, I just feel like, you know, maybe she'd like appreciate being outside, you know, more, you know, for a little bit each day or something when it's not raining. Because, you know, she stays in during the winter, she stays in during the summer. I mean, Christ, it's like being in prison, right? She didn't do anything wrong. She ain't a spy. She ain't Donald Trump. You know, the hell did she do? So, yeah, so I'm going to see how that works out. And I paid, I think, about $28, I think, for this. So everything you order from Temu comes from China, I guess. So it takes like maybe a couple weeks, and it gets here, which I bought many things from China in the past, on eBay even, and it usually takes about a couple weeks, because it has to go through customs and everything like that. But all the good stuff comes from there. I mean, you know, it's hard to find anything American made that's worth, you know, buying or having, you know. But when you see something neat, you know, or something, you know, some novelty or something like that, it's usually China that's got it. And you know, but the thing of it is that you would think it'd be expensive, but it's not. I don't know how they do it, but you know, the shipping and all that stuff is really cheap for them to bring stuff over here, and the prices to buy those things over there is not that expensive. You know, I mean, yes, there are certain things that but I don't buy these certain things that are expensive. I buy stuff that's really, you know, like toys, pet things, maybe some clothes sometimes I might find, you know, stuff like that. And it's usually not expensive, you know. It even rivals Walmart, but I suspect Walmart gets a lot of their stuff from China too. I don't know. But at any rate, yeah, I did order something for her. So today here, we're getting down to the politics of things here. I was reading about. Hold on a second here. Let me get this up. Donald Trump here, who said, you know, or at least opened the possibility that he would persecute his political opponents, or prosecute his political opponents here. And where the hell did it go now? Oh, damn it. Oh, here we go. And it's from CNN, written by Kate Sullivan. It says, Trump again suggests he would try to prosecute his political opponents if reelected. Former President Trump on Tuesday, that's yesterday, again suggested he would try to prosecute his political opponents if he's reelected as he railed against his criminal conviction in New York. Quote, it's a terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to, and it's very possible that it's going to have to happen to them, unquote, Trump said in an interview with Newsmax, of course. Trump faces the possibility of a prison sentence after he was convicted last week on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Well, he won't get a prison sentence, people. That's the truth of it. Quote, it's a very terrible thing. It's a terrible precedent for our country. Does that mean the next president does it to them? That's really the question, unquote, he said. The former president has been suggesting he would weaponize the Justice Department against his political opponents since he was first indicted more than a year ago. He has said he would appoint a special prosecutor to investigate President Joe Biden and his family if reelected, and has argued several times he believes he is justified in doing so because Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to oversee criminal investigations that implicate Trump. The former president still faces charges in 3 other criminal cases against him, and he has denied any wrongdoing. Trump, who has repeatedly called for the imprisonment of his 2016 Democratic presidential opponent, Hillary Clinton, despite her never being charged with a crime, on Tuesday said he thought it would have been a terrible thing if Clinton went to jail. Trump recently falsely claimed in an interview with Fox News that he didn't call to lock up Clinton. Yeah, and yet on YouTube you can find him saying that in video after video after video. Lock her up, lock her up. You know, lest we forget, huh? I got a lot of credit from a lot of people, and some people said I should have done it. But you know, would have been very easy to do it, but I thought it would be a terrible precedent for our country, unquote, Trump said. Liar. Trump continued, quote, wouldn't it be terrible to throw the president's wife and the former Secretary of State, think of it, the former Secretary of State, but the president's wife into jail? Wouldn't that be a terrible thing? But they want to do it, unquote. He wanted to do it. Again, pointing the finger at everybody else for doing what they themselves are doing, okay? Trump's sentencing hearing was set for July 11 after a Manhattan jury convicted the former president last week in his criminal hush money trial. Prosecutors accused Trump of taking part in an illegal conspiracy to undermine the integrity of the 2016 presidential election and an unlawful plan to suppress negative information, which included concealing a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Trump's sentence is up to the judge, and it could include prison time or probation. Trump's first campaign event since conviction, will you settle down, is expected to take place Thursday in Phoenix. He will be participating in a town hall hosted by the right-wing not-profit Turning Point Action. Okay, so yeah, he's out there bitching that, he wants to go after everybody that's been after him, okay? And, it's not just him. Think for a minute of all the people that did work with him, that associated with him, all the lawyers that he had, okay, over the years. Just about every one of them is either in prison right now or going to be on trial for something, okay, or they're facing indictment for something. How is it that all these people that surround Trump are guilty of all the things that's happened to them, but Trump isn't? Does that make any sense to you? Even John Gotti. I mean, it's like saying, John Gotti's innocent, even though everybody that did stuff for him is guilty. How the hell does that work in the mind of a maggot? Okay, how the hell does a maggot make that assumption that because Trump is innocent, but they don't care about the other people that have to go to prison for him? They don't even ask why or how the hell why they're all going to prison for things, but Trump isn't. They all worked for Trump. They all did stuff for Trump. Okay, the fake electorates that they put in there to try to overturn a fucking an election. Okay, every one of them is going to be going to court here or facing some penalties. Every one of them. But they were all selected by Trump. Every fucking one of them. Are you going to say, "Oh, I didn't know"? I mean, is he going to pull a Richard Nixon and say, "I didn't know until they told me about it"? No. He hasn't said that. I mean, at least as far as I know, he hasn't said that. But these people don't fall on their sword, okay, for nothing. They know that Trump gave them the orders to do all the stuff that he did, okay? And because they're so fanatical in the way they see this guy, cult mentality, that even as they take the fall for things Trump had them do, they're still out there screaming, "Oh, he didn't, he's innocent, the country's after him, they're going after him." Okay, it's all a political process. Well, if it's political for him, for what reason is it for you then? For that worked for this guy. I mean, who the hell are you to the American country? You lawyers, you lackeys, you people here, you Bannons out there who have been riding on Trump's sleigh here all this fucking time. Who the fuck are you to the United States? Okay? I mean, if you're thinking you're so important that the whole country is coming after you, that the government's coming after you, who the fuck are you? No, we're going after Trump because Trump is the one who committed these crimes, and you people aided him in that. You people made it possible for him to execute those crimes. Okay? That's the only thing that this country knows about you, is that you're a criminal. You did stuff that you weren't supposed to do for Trump. But MAGA, on the other hand, they don't look at it that way. Okay? These people that are answering for Trump's bullshit, even the son of a bitches on January 6th, the ones that one by one getting picked up by the FBI, all right, and prosecuted because they went there taking Trump's orders to stand back and stand by. Well, that's exactly what they did. They stood by, and when the time was right, they struck. So they did this for Trump, okay? Again, these people taking the fall for Trump. So why is it that Trump is innocent in these maggots' minds, but everybody else, it's okay to take and put them in prison? Why ain't they out there screaming and hollering about that? About all, why are you going after Mike Cohen? Why did he have to go to prison? Or why, you know what I'm saying? Why do they do this? It has nothing to do with them. It's all about Trump, protecting Trump, building us a wagon, circling the wagons around Trump. That's all it is. Everybody else has to take the fall, but Trump cannot be touched in their eyes. Okay, he's the dictator. The dictator in waiting, essentially. And it's not safe for the jurors that convicted Trump. You know that, and I know that. If they ever find out where these jurors live, where they're from, God only knows what will happen. Some fucking lunatic that's crazy enough to set himself on fire in front of the courthouse in New York there a few weeks back, whatever. Any one of them, people like that, would do something. And of course it's all going to lead right back to Trump, right? But you think the maggots care? No, because they're happy to see him get away with one thing after another. And when you say, when you bring up to their face him stealing national secrets and all that, Their only answer to that is, you know, what about Biden? What about Clinton? What about this? What about, you know, it's like, you're not defending Trump when you say that. You're actually admitting Trump did do something wrong, okay? And you figured that, well, if these other people that you think did the same thing got away with it, then why shouldn't Trump? So you're not denying that he committed the crime by using the whataboutism, okay, in your counter argument. That's just a slick way of trying to avoid facing or answering the question that was posed to you, and you don't want to answer it. So you try to sidetrack the conversation, but it's actually not helping. You're actually admitting when you do that Trump did do something wrong, and everybody else that did it got away with it. So why can't he? Essentially is what you're saying. All right. Okay, so this other story here is also about Trump. And it centers around this thing he's been saying here in some of his rallies here about emptied prisons, and all the people from the prisons in Mexico coming into this country are criminals, you know, and they're you know, from the Congo and stuff like that, that they're coming across the border into our country and they're all criminals. Well, here's this article here from CNN, written by Daniel Dale, entitled, "Everything He Is Saying Isn't True. Congolese Governments Denounce Trump's Baseless Stories About Emptied Prisons." There is no evidence for former President Trump's repeated claims that the Congo has emptied prisons to allow violent criminals to come to the U.S. border as migrants. And the governments of both the Democratic Republic of Congo and the neighboring Republic of Congo says Trump's assertions are entirely false. Quote, "Everything he is saying isn't true," unquote. Democratic Republic of Congo spokesperson Patrick Moyaya Katambwe told CNN in a text message on Thursday, asked specifically about Trump's claims about Congolese prisons being emptied of violent criminals. He said, quote, "Never ever, it's not true," unquote. And he said, quote, "We want him to stop," unquote, telling these stories since, quote, "it's very bad for the country," unquote. Serge Mombuli, the Republic of Congo's ambassador to the U.S., said in an email to CNN on Friday, "There is no truth or any sign for a single fact supporting such a claim or statement." And a CNN fact check found the same. Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, keeps making claims about emptied Congolese prisons as he criticizes President Biden's handling of immigration. For example, Trump said during a Fox News town hall in late February, quote, "We have people coming in from everywhere. They're coming in from the Congo. They're interviewed some people last night. Where are you from? Congo. Where did you live? Prison. They're emptying out their prisons into our country," unquote. During a visit to the border late in February, Trump said, quote, "The Congo, a very big population coming in from jails from the Congo. You look at the jails now, you take a look at the jails throughout the region, but more importantly, throughout the world, they're emptying out because they're dumping them into the United States. The media databases contain no corroboration for these stories, and human rights organizations that monitor the Democratic Republic of Congo and neighboring Republic of Congo say they know of no evidence for them." Quote, I've not heard anything about emptying of Congolese prisons," Louis Mudge, Central Africa Director for Human Rights Watch, said of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Amnesty International senior researcher Abdoulaye Diarra, who studies the Republic of Congo, told CNN in a text message on Friday, quote, "To my knowledge, and according to other Congolese organizations, there has been no mass release of prisoners from Congolese prisons in the Republic of Congo. Even if there had been such a prisoner release, it would not prove Trump's claim about a very big population of Congolese former prisoners arriving at the border. Official federal data shows that Congolese migrants in general, not ex-prisoners in particular, represent a tiny fraction of overall arrivals. In the first 4 months of 24 fiscal year through January, there was just 320 Border Patrol encounters at the southern border with people from the Democratic Republic of Congo or Republic of Congo, according to official data. provided to CNN by U.S. Customs and Border Protection this week. That is a minuscule fraction of the more than 753,000 total Border Patrol encounters with people from around the world in those 4 months. CNN also reached out to 2 U.S. organizations that advocate reduced immigration levels in search of any evidence for Trump's claims about emptied Congolese prisons, since these groups sometimes serve as sources for Trump's rhetoric about the border. One response, quote, "We don't have any information about this one way or the other," unquote, said Mark Krikorian, executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies. And the Pro-Immigration Migration Policy Institute, which said it is unaware of any country emptying prisons to send people to the U.S., noted that Trump's stories about, quote, the Congo, unquote, are just the latest in his series of unsubstantiated claims about foreign countries supposedly emptying prisons and mental health facilities for nefarious migration purposes. Quote, this week, the Congo, in the past, Latin America, tomorrow, likely another country, unquote. Spokesperson Michelle Mitzeldacht scoffed of Trump's claims. Indeed, Trump has a habit of making his false or unsubstantiated stories more dramatic or colorful over time. His claims about the Congo are part of a long-running series on the same theme. He has for years made baseless claims that various foreign countries are intentionally sending violent and otherwise undesirable people to the U.S. as migrants during his 2016 presidential campaign. Then, while running again in 23, Trump repeatedly told an unsubstantiated story about mental health institutions in South America, including, quote, insane asylums, unquote, being deliberately emptied for nefarious migration purposes. Trump's campaign was unable to provide any corroboration for that story, though he had repeatedly cited a supposed media report. Trump also made unproven claims in 23 about migrants being emptied out of foreign prisons. By January of 24, he was referring specifically to migrants who had been prisoners in the Congo. Then by February 24, he was claiming that the Congolese migrants acknowledged having been incarcerated for murder. He has never provided a specific source for any of these remarks. So, once again, and it should be of no surprise to anybody, he's out there saying things that are complete false. It's all lies. All of it. He's a liar about this issue of criminals being deliberately set free in the United States. Okay, even on the surface, on its face, the story sounds ludicrous, and it is. Okay, but to the maggots out there that thrive on every word that he says, they're gonna swallow that hook, line, and sinker, fall for that fucking bullshit, and at the same time create this momentum to get rid of this country of all people that are brown, okay, or that they consider to be illegal in this country, okay, and all I can think of is that if Trump is reelected, we're going to see like concentration camps of people in this country that have been deemed illegal, and rounded up and herded into these places where they will be immediately kicked out of this country. Okay, and he'll have the base in order just to support that, the maggots, because they believe that. Okay, they believe that all these people coming into this country are just the dregs of society. Really, you know every one of those people that tries to come into this country. You're actually going to go on record as saying that you know every single person that's ever come into this country is a criminal, is a bad apple. You know them all by name, right? That's what you're saying. You know every one of these fucking people, okay? If you do, then what the hell are you hanging around with them for if you hate them so much? Okay? The truth is, you don't know. You don't freaking know who they are or where they come from, okay? Or why they're coming into this country. You don't know. That's not your job. That's the job of border security, okay? That's the job of border security. They're the ones that keep the records. Unless you work for border security, you don't know half of these people or even just a smidgen of them, okay? You don't know these people. So Shame on you for going around telling people you know every single one that comes over here is from the Congo, a prisoner, and so, you know, fuck you. All right, that's the same kind of bullshit, horseshit crap that, you know, people would say about black Americans, that they're all criminals, every goddamn one of them. We ought to burn Harlem to the ground and get rid of these fucking people. You know, that's the same mentality that that was going on then. You're espousing now about illegal immigrants, okay? And like someone had said, I can't remember where I saw this, but if you took all the immigrants in this country and just sent them back where they come from, you know what it would cost you to buy a fucking strawberry in the grocery stores? Okay? Because there ain't a fucking American in this country that would work to do what these guys do for the pay that they do, that they get. No American would do it. The cost in the grocery stores on food would go through the fucking roof because Americans would be doing the job instead of the immigrants that rich people love to have come into their country, into this country, to work for them, to do all these things that they don't admit are useful. They'll never tell you that, but that's what they do. These people come into this country to get these jobs, they make money, they send it home. Okay? You know, you guys, like I said, you people stand for things that are only going to make your lives more miserable than you think they are now. Okay? You think right now it's the end of days. You think right now the apocalypse is around the corner. But I'll tell you, it won't happen until you get your way, and that's when it'll happen. When you maggots out there finally get everything you want, that's when it'll happen. That's when God will put his foot down and take it all away from you and say, that's it, you've had it. I tried to teach you, but you wouldn't listen. That's what's going to happen. That's when it'll happen. For those of you that care to know about religion and religious things, that's the way it's going to happen for you. Okay?
Watch this.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Carrie Lake and Donald Trump. At first, they admitted they wanted a national abortion ban.
I don't think abortion pills should be legal.
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman.
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Now, they're pretending they won't back the ban if they're elected. they're lying.
This total ban on abortion is out of line with where the people of this state are.
Did Arizona go too far?
Yeah, they did, and that'll be straightened out.
I agree with President Trump. This is such a personal and private issue.
Two frauds desperately running from the truth and from their real position. She backed the ban, and he's still bragging about ending Roe.
That I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade, and I'm proud to have done it. I was so honored to have done it.
They'll ban all abortion, even to save a mother's life. They'll end IVF, and they'll ban birth control. Donald Trump and Kari Lake, they're the same. They're dishonest, deceptive, and dangerous for every woman.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back. Getting some hellacious storms out there right now. It just started while I was doing the recording in the previous segment. I had to hurry up and shut it down so I could secure things here. I don't want to get zapped by lightning. Wind's really strong though. So this is one of the things I was telling you about that I had purchased from Temu. I don't know if you saw it in my other video on Trick or Critique. Pretty cool, huh? I don't know, I sort of liked it. So, anyway, this other story here comes from, as a story that's happening in Colorado. All right. And it's about the Colorado Republican Party wants to go around and burn all the pride flags. Oh, these people really should be in our government, right? The Republicans really are the flower of American culture, you know. They really deserve our fucking support. Okay, the party's shift toward extremism continued with a nod to an infamous anti-gay slur and an invitation to burn all pride flags. This is from Kyle Clark. The Colorado Republican Party marked the start of Pride Month with a mass email attacking godless groomers and a social media post calling for the burning of all pride flags. The state GOP's move to the far right after a series of electoral blowout losses continued with some of its harshest anti-gay rhetoric in recent years. the Colorado GOP's mass email titled, quote, "God hates pride," unquote, read in part, quote, "The month of June has arrived, and once again, the godless groomers in our society want to attack what is decent, holy, and righteous so they can ultimately harm our children," unquote. The message to Colorado Republicans was headlined with an image reading, quote, "God hates flags," unquote, a nod to the anti-gay slur on the picket signs of the infamous Westboro Baptist Church, if you remember them, that clown of folks here. Whoop, I hit the damn thing here. The party's message was signed by Chairman Dave Williams. A post from the Colorado Republican Party on X, formerly Twitter, read simply, quote, "Burn all the pride flags this June," unquote. Vladimir Archuleta, president of the Colorado Log Cabin Republicans and a candidate for the heavily Democratic 1st Congressional District in Denver, renounced the GOP's endorsement as a result. Quote, "The morons running our state party made it extremely hard for some of us to accomplish our goals for liberty," unquote, Archuleta posted on X. In a follow-up statement released Tuesday, Archuleta said he could not accept the endorsement of the Colorado Republican Party, calling the party's email, quote, "just hateful," unquote, and, quote, "disgusting and offensive," unquote. Williams told 9 News that Archuleta will still have the support of the state GOP. Quote, "We make no apologies for opposing the woke Pride Month agenda as it ultimately harms children and undermines parents. But Archuleta is the presumptive nominee in an overwhelmingly Democrat-heavy district, so we will, of course, continue to highlight his candidacy," unquote, Williams said. Last month, the Colorado GOP called for parents to pull all children from public schools, claiming Democrats use schools to, quote, "turn more kids trans," unquote. Williams has used the resources of the Colorado Republican Party to promote both his Christian faith and his candidacy for Colorado's 5th Congressional District in a contested GOP primary. The state GOP has also attacked Williams' primary opponent, Jeff Crank. In 23, Williams faced criticism for sending a holiday message telling Republicans to, quote, "give your life to Jesus," unquote. Williams has brushed off calls for his resignation from fellow Republicans, saying that he is remaking the state party in the image of Donald Trump, who has endorsed Williams for Congress. But Williams' anti-gay rhetoric is out of step with Trump's positions on LGBTQ issues. As a state representative in 2020, Williams backed a failed effort to ban same-sex marriage in Colorado, a measure so extreme that it was not supported by Republican leaders in the State House and the Colorado Republican Party. The Colorado GOP's anti-gay insults and call to burn all pride flags was met with immediate condemnation from Colorado Democrats. Quote, "This type of vile hatred has come to define the Colorado GOP," unquote. Democrat Party Chairman Shad Murib posted on X, quote, "It's why we're organizing up and down the ballot to beat them at all levels," unquote. Democratic State Representative David Ortiz of Littleton, the first out bisexual legislator in state history, said the Colorado GOP has more in common with the Taliban than the Founding Fathers, unquote. Ortiz served as an Army helicopter pilot in Afghanistan and was partially paralyzed in a helicopter crash in 2012. Quote, "LGBTQ folks serve in the military. We are cops, we are firefighters, we are your family members and neighbors," unquote, Ortiz wrote on X. Quote, "We will outlast your bigotry and hate," unquote. You know, the first thing, you know, about this, look, I lived a little bit out in Colorado when I was in the Air Force. Beautiful state, you know. And for the most part, you know, the people seemed, you know, okay, except the time they chased me when I was off base going shopping, and I was wearing my uniform, and there were a bunch of protesters out in front of, I guess was Denver, Colorado's town city hall or whatever the hell it was. You know, they're just marching, and they saw me, and you know, a couple of my friends together. We was out shopping, and a few of them come chasing us, yelling at us, you know, saying you know stupid things and shit like that. Fortunately, there was a city bus that stopped and letting people on. I jumped on, got on the bus before they could get me and my buddies there. So, and we just, you know, kind of left. And you know, this was back in 1990 or 1990, when the Gulf War started. But that was really my only taste at the time of Denver, Colorado politics, I guess, or you know, people's, you know, participation in it. But seeing this now about the Republican Party out in that state, basically just coming out like, you know, what the only thing missing is the swastikas that they would wear on their arm in Nazi Germany. They're talking like that, these people. And at the same time, you know, it makes me reflect on the video that I had done about, that I titled Let's Talk. And I think about, you know, how people, if they would just put aside their emotion and come to the table and talk, that maybe we could get somewhere to an understanding. But if people are going to behave like this on the outset, and even take it further through violence, I mean, how can anyone, you know, offer an olive branch and say, let's see if we can't find some middle ground here, when they don't want to find that middle ground? I mean, you know, it's a dangerous venture, I assure you, to reach out to certain people. Not everybody would approach it in this violent, you know, manner. If you were to ask them to, let's have a conversation, because I would say if it's in your family, you'd probably have a better chance. But you know, people like this who are your strangers that you don't know, and have already formulated opinions in their mind about people with, you know, that are gay or transsexual or whatever, transgender. You know, people like that. If I've already got this rooted, deeply rooted, you know, opinion that's very bigoted and stuff like that, it's going to be almost impossible to safely have a conversation with such people, especially when they throw the Bible in your face to justify why they are acting the way they are, which you'll never find anywhere in the Bible that says anything like that, at least not the Bible that I read when I was growing up, okay? There's nothing in there that says anything about, you know, singling people out and ridiculing them and throwing rocks at them or hanging them up by their Buster Browns or whatever the hell you want to say. You know, there's nothing in the Bible that says to go out and do shit like that. Okay? You want to quote a story out of the Bible like God did this and God did that, you know, that's up to you. But there's no corroborating evidence to show that that ever happened, a lot of these things. Even the story of Noah's Ark is up for debate. Okay? I mean, almost in every part of the world, there's a story that mirrors Noah's Ark in some fashion, where some flood occurred or something, some big event happened, weather event, you know, and only a few survived and all that. Every culture has a story like that, okay? And it has nothing to do with the Christian Bible, okay? But these are stories. These are fucking stories. And if you want to say that, oh, God is so, you know, pissed off at people that he'll kill them all in a flood, or he'll you know, ban you from the Garden of Eden and stuff. If you want to believe that, that's you, okay? That's you, okay? Unfortunately, it's not something that's gone away yet. There's still people to this day who believe bullshit, okay? And that's, you know who I'm talking about, the maggots, okay? Everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is the gospel for them, unfortunately. Hell, that's why he's got his own Bibles he's trying to sell people, because he's basically trying to tell you that I'm the second coming, right? This guy's trying to say, I'm Jesus reincarnated, you want me, your orange Jesus, to be president. Okay, well, apparently the Republican Party in Colorado was no different. They're mixing their religion with their politics, like these people do, and it's always been a bad mix. Okay, I've never had a meal where you mix the two things together that it comes out tasting great. It's always overspiced, and it gives you indigestion. Okay, the two things are never meant to come together. This, politics is its own thing, religion should be its own thing. Okay, but integrating the two never seems to work, because when you start doing that, you get things like, Nazism, fascism, dictatorships. That's what you end up with when you mix stuff like that. Raining pretty hard out there right now, by the way. Can hardly see out the window. It's like Vietnam in the in the monsoon season. Jeez, rain, rain, rain. Smokey's hiding because of the lightning. But this is sad. It really is sad that this shit's happening out there. And when people feel this strongly about this issue, okay, when people feel that strongly, it really does make you wonder, can we even come to a middle ground? Is there a chance at all that we could reach out to these people and try to make them understand that we're humans too? We just function differently. You know what I'm saying? We just do things differently. We're not the same as you. Unfortunately, we can't all be the same. Okay? But take us for what we are. I mean, each one of us is different in our own way. Even everyone who's straight, there's going to be differences in that. Okay? Everyone who's gay, there's going to be differences in that. Everyone who's transgender, there's going to be differences in that. Okay? Not everybody's the same. Hell, you can't even find two Christians who can agree on everything that's written in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So the differences go all the way down the fucking line, all the way, it's incredible that we can do what we're doing now by making generalizations and amassing people together to all hate something. How can you get people to do that if we're supposed to be all different? I don't know. It makes you wonder about the human race. Does it have a future? Really? Does it really belong in a future that that sees or do we even have the chance of creating a future that's great? Something something like a Star Trek type future. I mean, do you think we could ever actually have that, or is that just pipe dreams? And even if you go and talk to, wow, that was a big one. Even if you go and talk to different Star Trek fans, they're all going to have a different take on what that future is going to look like. Okay. And I think I said this on a Shrekker Critique, or on a friend of mine, he had a video show where we talked about how Republicans view the Star Trek future, and what they think is the future of Star Trek is different than what Democratic, liberal thinkers think of it. They have a different look at Star Trek's future, But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. This is supposed to be about politics, but this issue here, like I said, is very disgusting, that we still have people who will take this issue to run on as a candidate. And when you take polarizing issues like this to run on for governor, for senator, whatever, all the people that you gain as a supporter are people that are so far from the middle road that they would never come to the middle ground to talk to the other side. Okay? And Democrats have been playing it the same way pretty much on their side. by being very far to the left if they can, and they get all the supporters to follow them. So there's nothing left in the middle ground to meet on, because the two parties have split the country right down the ass crack, okay, and have split our nation in a way that makes our government function more difficult. Because in order to have in order to do politics correctly, there has to be some compromise. Without it, you can't have it. You can't have compromise, because neither side will actually meet at the middle to do things. And we got to have that middle ground, folks. We really do. You know, and I think that, you know, from this election on, we're going to have to start moving our country to the center instead of being all so far to one side or the other. And part of that is going to mean taking religion out of politics, because religion is what's pulling the right wing, okay, closer away from the middle than ever. Believe it or not, it is. The more religion has gotten involved in our politics, the further the divide has grown between our two political parties, okay? Where even an independent party that says they're middle of the road isn't so middle of the road anymore. They're really either on one side of the thing or the other now. So even that party's been split. So, like I said, we have to do something to correct that, you know, and that means we're all going to have to start learning how to come to the middle, to tolerate and listen to the other side, and not be so get our backs up the minute we come to the table and start getting argumentative. And, you know, we're going to have to do what the politicians are not able to do, and that's to talk. Okay? When the politicians see that people can come to the middle and talk and discuss things and understand each other, they're going to have to do the same thing too. Okay? The only reason why the politicians act so divisively these days is because they think the public wants it that way. Okay? Why do you think the right wing is acting the way they are? And, you know, because they figure, hey, that's where the votes are. People want us to fight with the Democrats all the time. They don't want us to do anything. And the more we talk that way, the more votes we garner. So that's what they want, you know? And I think the same can be said for the Democrats. I think they feel like, you know, the Democrats are so mad at the right that we have to start sounding like, you know, the Republicans are just the devil incarnate, you know, and we got to do that, okay? Certainly Trump can be considered devil incarnate simply by what he says. Okay, we don't have to imply, we just take what he says, and we know that guy's demented, all right? So, anyway, like I said, this is an issue I'm sad to see, you know, going on in Colorado, and I hope that state can get itself out of that mess, out of that quagmire, because that's not going to get anyone anywhere except more misery and more upsetting elections. People are just never going to be happy in that state, you know, burning pride flags and stuff like that. It's not going to work. That does not work. Okay, it won't work. It just doesn't. So anyway, that's it for today. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and subscribe, comment, and ooh, big lightning bolt, looks like it almost hit that tree. And share with others if you want. I don't care. And keep your ears open for any health matters out there, you know. And don't let the Republicans tell you otherwise. Okay? There's nothing wrong with protecting your health, for Christ's sake, you know. Tomorrow's D-Day, so find a veteran and celebrate, you know, what a amazing event that was then, you know, that day. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, except, you know, it was an incredible venture that this country had taken that day. Was it 80 years ago now? Wow. All right, so treat each other nice. I'll talk to you again later.